Hello folks, welcome back to another advertising for what's on Paranormal Tech Live next week. So we're on the second video. If you've seen my other clip for last week where we're going on Tuesday night, we are going to Moira Castle. So Tuesday night live at 8 o'clock. So this is for another live investigation on Wednesday night, and we're taking you to this beautiful location. While the weather's fine, let's do it. Why not? So we're taking you to a place called the Jumping Castle in RD. So here's the location right here. And we're just going to bring you through bit by bit. Here's the townland of RD, and these are the gates here of the Jumping Castle. We're going to come into it now in a second, and some of these advertisements here from the place. This place goes back to the year 1600 and even back to 1953. So we're just going to show you that the sign there. Right, so let's take you into the Jumping Castle. How am I going to get Leah in here now is the next thing. So we'll see if we open this gate here to the Jumping Castle, so that Leah can't actually jump that wall there actually. Right, Leah, come on. So we'll get Leah into these gates here. So we'll explain to you about the Jumping Castle of RD in 2 seconds. Right, so we're going to go live here next Tuesday night. We're going to show you the place in a couple of seconds. It's actually an old church ground back in RD, and it's actually a small, tiny graveyard, and they actually call it the Jumping Castle for a reason. We'll show you now in a second. So the legend goes, this church, well, actually back in the year 1300s. This little church here, we're going to show you in a couple of seconds, is back in the year 1300s. There was actually a person buried inside the church in where I'm going to show you. And one stormy night back in the year 1300s, the church, how will I put this out to you? The legend goes that once in it back, and we're just going to see, can we see the stories of the wall was its pitched tilt position can be seen to have moved some 3 feet from the foundations. A severe storm back in 1715, when the wall lifted and disposed as it now stands, but was located straight back here where we're standing, as the wall jumped inwards to exclude the grave of a person. So what they're trying to say here in this story is that there was somebody was buried inside the church at the possession. The legend goes here, so that's why while I see a lot of stuff here called the Jumping Church of RD. So roughly what it's trying to say to you, this was a little church back in the year 1300s, and before we show it to you, there was somebody buried inside the chapel back in the year 1300s. And one stormy night back in 1715, a severe storm hit Ireland in 1715, when the walls of the church lifted and moved in several feet. Let's see how many feet it actually move in. I'm going to stand it now before I show you. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it actually went in 4 foot, right? So back in the year 1715, okay, 1715, there was a severe storm in Republic of Ireland, and somebody was buried inside the church. So what they're trying to tell you in this story, that the church rejected the body that was buried inside the church, and the church actually rejected the grave and jumped 4 foot inside and left the body outside. So let's show you what's it all about. So this is the church. As you can see, this is the wall here, okay? So let's bring you through it. We'll get, so this is the wall. We're going to bring it right through and so explain to you exactly what it is. So that is the wall of the church standing here. You can see it there. There's the wall right there of the church. And here's the foundations. Can you see the foundations of the church? So the body would have been buried inside in here. So that's where the body would have been buried inside the chapel. So back in 1715, when the storm hit Ireland, the legend goes in Ireland that the church itself rejected the person that was inside the church and jumped from here into here in 1715. So the church itself rejected the body that was buried inside the church. So let's try and show you that again. So there's the church. You can see the wall is there, and that was the foundations there, right there, where right here, So we just go here. That is where that wall here would have been sitting here. That wall would have been sitting here, and the person was buried here. And when the storm back in 1715, it jumped from here to there back in the year 1715 and rejected the body and left the body outside the church and continued the church inside. So roughly what I was trying to tell you is the story of this little church here back in 1715. Somebody was buried inside the church, and when the storm came back in 1715, the church rejected the body and jumped 7 feet inside it. And it says 7 feet when you're looking on YouTube, but when I'm measuring it here, so I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, actually jumped 4 foot in it. So where I'm standing here would have been the body of someone who was buried in the church, and the church itself rejected the body. So here we're just going to try and zoom in this for you here. You can see it there. Here's a sign here. It's called the Jumping Wall of RD. So they actually call it the Jumping Church. The wall, by its pitch, tilt and position, can be seen has moved some 3 feet from its foundation. Well, it's actually 4 feet from the foundation. You can see it there. A severe storm hit in 1715 when the wall lifted and disposed as it now stands. You can see it there, so that's where it is. And let's see, so it states that the wall jumped inwards to exclude the grave of the person. So I was trying to say there was a person here, and the church itself jumped inwards 3 feet to reject the person's body that was in here. So that's the story. That's why they call it the Jumping Church of RD. We are going to go live here next Wednesday night and see can we pick up anything here. So let's try and give you a guided tour of the place. So let's show you what it is. So you can see there is the wall there again. Let's show you the wall again. So you can see how far the wall jumped from here to in there. So it's actually amazing. It's about, back in the Irish history, it's for a small little graveyard here. For the church itself, the story goes back in 1715. I'm going to repeat it so many times because it's amazing when you're looking at it, to see the church, the wall back in 1715. So you can picture it again from this side. That wall was actually sitting here, and so the person was buried underneath the gravel here, and the church itself jumped from the foundations from here to there to reject the body to be inside the church. So that is the story of the Jumping Church. Is the place haunted? We don't know. We're going to have to come here with our spirit boxes and suss it out. So let's walk around and see what we can see. You okay, Leah?
Yeah.
So Leah's with me. So you can see that there's absolutely no foundation, and it's amazing how the wall is still, it's actually amazing how the wall is still standing, and you can see how it's leaning, you can see how the wall is leaning over to the right hand side of the chap, and that's back in 1715, and it's actually still standing the same way today. That's amazing. So let's see what we see. So let's see what we see when we come here with the spirit boxes. You never know what's going to happen. It's another little bit of history for you guys to watch. Something to look forward to. So we're actually standing inside the church as we speak now. So this would have been the church back in the 1700s. When I came here first, I thought it was the 1300s, but going by the wall and the plaque, it says it's the 1715. We're going to recheck that before we finish. So it's called Kilmock Graveyard, and so we're just going to look at this. So that would have been the church, the original plans of the church, and it shows you here the Carrolls, the Boylans, the Francis, the Martins, all the different people that have been buried, and you can see the priests where they have been buried as well. So that would have been the line of the church, and that's called, what's that called? This display wall. So they're showing you how far the wall jumped back in the 1700s. So that's that. It doesn't really tell you much more about it. So let's walk around and see what else we can see. So we're just going to show you as much as we can, and we're going to upload this for next Wednesday night, weather permitting. Let's hope the conditions will stay hold, and we'll look at some of these old graves as well. We'll have a quick look around and see what it is. So we're going right into the very back of the church. This would have been the right into the back of the church, so you can see it. So we'll try and show you as much as we can, some of the old graves. So when we walk around here, what are we going to pick up in the spirit boxes? Yeah, you can feel it. You can kind of get a headache here on top of my head now. So we're just going to try and show you as much, because when you come back here at night time and when you do your paranormal investigations, you're not going to be able to see or see any what we're going to show you here. So we're going to try and cover as much as we can. And look at the old grave there. and you can see, look at the old graves. Look at the old graves back in the years and years and years ago. I'm just going to try and zoom in this. Excuse me, the girl. And you can really see the old texture here in this graveyard. You can see the two faces of the people here. Can you see that there, guys? Can you see it? I hope you can see, because let's try and get it. Can you see the old faces of the two people here? And the sign of a cross there. You can see that. Absolutely amazing. And it's I can't read what's on it, but the person who died there was 60 years of age. So looking forward to doing a spirit box session definitely in here when you see old graves like that. We're just going to see, do we see any more? So that is just the back of the back side of the of the church, what it did look like when we walked up there. So we're going to walk up there. There's Leah on her phone making out she's talking to someone, so let her, she's happy out at it. So let's walk around, see what else we can pick up before we finish. So don't forget we're live here in the Jumping Church. They call it the Jumping Church of RD next Wednesday night. So the reason why we're going doing a lot of live streams for the next couple of days is because Caroline is going away for 3 days, and I won't get the opportunity to do it. But these look like kids' graves. See them here on the ground? All these little stones here. These look like kids' graves. The reason why Caroline's going away for a few days, and I like to get as much live streams as I can, just to show you guys what it is. Look at that other grave here, guys, as well. You can see it there. Some lovely little graves. The people do look after the graveyards up here as well. So we're going to walk around to show you as much as we can. See what can I pick up at. So we're going live for, this is another advertisement for next week. So we're going live on Monday night. We are going to, not Monday night, we're going live Tuesday night. We are going to Moira Castle, and Tuesday night we are coming here to the Jumping Castle of RD. So we're going to try and show you as much as we can. Look at the beautiful, beautiful graveyard. All these little stones sticking up. That's how they used to bury people many years and years and years ago. And sometimes that's where the people of Ireland didn't have the money to do up graves or gravestones or headstones. They just put little round stones like that and put them up like that. So let's give you a quick look of what it looks like. So you can see it's not a big graveyard, but back in. Just going to make sure we have the dates right before we start. But definitely be interested to know. Why did the chapel jump several feet in the air? Now this is very unusual for a grave as well. And why would they put a big headstone and bars around it, and like a chain around it, like barbed wire? So that's very unusual as well. So let's have a look at this. You can see it's big huge chain with spikes in it. You can see that. Very, very unusual to see that on a grave. You can see that. Very, very unusual. We'll read it in a minute. Why would they put a big cast iron around a grave and put like a chain around it with big spikes? Very, very unusual to see that as well. What does it say on it? Can I say it? Thomas Mullen. That's all I can see. Bride. I can't see it. All the writing is fading away. Age 64 years of age. Person died. There's a load of people. It's actually it's a plot of someone else. Someone else died at 69 years of age. Someone died at 67 years of age. The 24th of July, 1827. Age 19 years. Wow. Someone else died here at 19 years. We're just going to try and pick up. Actually, it's a family plot. Can't read the writing. In memory of those loved children, namely, I can't see it. The 24th of July, age 19 years. So someone died of 19 years of age. Oh my God, there's loads of them. Thomas Mullen, who died at 14 years of age. Someone died at 58 years of age. There's loads of different ages. The whole family. Would that be back in the famine years? I don't know. But just show you that there, guys. There you go. It's very, very hard to read it. So this plot here, this graveyard, and why are they indicating putting big barbed wire around it, where the whole family's plot is inside it? So kids were buried in that plot. So something different. Definitely love to know, which I should have brought the spirit box with me now, but this is only an advertisement to show you where I'm going to go live next Wednesday night. So this is called the Jumping Church RD. This next one, you can see it here. this definitely looks like a priest's grave, because that is a big giveaway. Definitely a giveaway. So I'll just show you this grave here. I can't see any names on that I can read. July 1860 something, and the person, whoever died here, was 90 years of age. There's a few people buried in this plot actually, so 90 years of age. It's very hard to read the headstones in it. So let's make our way back to the church. Do I see it and else. So don't forget, we're live here next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. It's called the Jumping Church of Ardee, and we'll just finish off with the last few bits and pieces. I actually see something else I want to show you. So it looks, we'll have to try and seize. There's a little house across the road from it. You can see it over there. Little house over there. I wonder would that have anything to do with this church? Maybe, maybe not. So let's finish it off. Let's go back into the jumping wall of the Church of Ardee. So we'll come back here and we'll do a spirit box. So the legend goes back. What I had it back when I came here first was it all happened in the year 1300, and it actually didn't happen in the year 1300. Go when you're doing, when you're looking at your research, it says it happened in the year 1300. Not going by this sign here, it says the jumping wall. Not going by this sign here, it says it happened back in 1715. So I'm going to go by that. Not going to go what it says on Google, but it says here on this, back in 1715, when the walls lifted. That's what it says here, on the wall. So this happened in 1715. That's exactly what it says there. Yeah, that's what it says, 1715. I should see, do I see it, and else I can take onward. No, it just says a severe storm hit Ireland back in 1715 when the walls lifted off the supposed foundation, and it went inwards, but located. So it says it went in 7 feet. That's what it is. Actually, it didn't go in 10, it only went in 4 feet. This wall, by its pitch, tilt, and position, can be seen to have moved some 3 feet from its foundations. A storm hit Ireland in 1715 and rejected the body that was buried inside the church. So somebody was buried here in 1715, and at one stormy night, a severe storm hit Ireland back in 1715, and the church itself rejected the body that was buried inside the church and moved in 4 feet in and left the body outside the church. That was it. That's what that is. 100% it. So we're going to walk out slowly, and we're going to be live here next Wednesday night. Like and spread the word. It's going to be called the Jumping Church of Ardee. So that is it. I like to show you, always what I always do, I like to show you where we're going to do a live investigation. So that's the Jumping Church of Ardee. We're going to come live here, do a spirit box session, and see, do we pick up anything? Are we going to pick anything? We don't know. That's what it is. We're going to try and follow some of the stories. So that is the wall behind me, right there. You can see it live Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, the Jumping Church of Ardee. So before we go, Leah, would you like to say anything? What do you think of that church?
Freaky.
Freaky. So Leah says it's freaky. So it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Leah. It's goodbye from Caroline. We'll see you live in the next few lives, and that is our advertising for next Wednesday night. We hope you enjoy it. I'm going to do it anyway for a bit of crack. See what's all this about. This wall jumping back in the year 1715. It's called Ardee Jumping Church. See you then. Thanks for stopping by, and always like and share. And we'll see you in our next video. Goodbye for now. See you soon. Thanks.